1963, and nothing has ever pointed to the fact that he said any of that. And he said it was all, what did he say? It was all a fabrication of UFO authors, the whole Black Knight thing.
Yeah, but I don't agree with you, because Gordon Cooper has literally spent the rest of his life when he retired, like, trying to get the government to release UFO files. So, like, he's like one of the biggest UFO advocates.
Right. Yes. So he has legitimately seen and reported UFOs before. This one, he specifically said was not true. The Black Knight.
He said the Black Knight was not true. Gordon Cooper.
Yeah, he said it was.
Gordon.
Yeah,
my boy.
Nonsense. All he has said. I mean, all you have to do is look up exactly what Gordon Cooper said. And he did not say that this was a Black Knight. He said it most certainly was not. And here's the transcripts proving that I did not say this.
Well, I don't think he never said the Black Knight. He did say that there was something. He did report that there's like a greenish thing out in the horizon or whatever.
Yeah, so that's what he's saying. I never said that.
But he never said it was the Black Knight. But he still had he just still saw something.
And again, I get back. Yes.
Okay.
He says he didn't see something, but he has before reported on UFO stuff, not on Mercury neither. And again, we get back to the fact that researchers keep attributing the Black Knight to all this stuff when it's never. No one ever mentions the Black Knight. It's just these UFO authors continually putting the Black Knight on something that, like, all these different things have nothing to do with each other, and yet someone has grouped them together and said, "Oh, this is all the Black Knight." It's what keeps coming up.
Right.
And like I said, I don't want to shit on anyone's research, but look it up for yourself. Like, I could not find anything that was other than, and researchers have said this. So I'm at a loss, people.
Okay, so wait, but I still believe.
And let's go to the photo. All right.
Okay.
That classic photo that came from.
We'll put this up on the website, everybody.
Yeah. So, and this, I remember last time I was looking at the Black Knight stuff. This photo came up, and so apparently this was taken on. Was it the Endeavour? The Endeavour mission?
I'm not sure, but it was 1998.
Yeah, 88. So 1988, right? The Endeavour photos. So apparently there was a few astronauts on board, and there was several photos taken. But there's this classic photo of this, like, kind of, it almost looks like an organic rock shape.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like hard edges, and it's like a black thing. So what they were saying is, and I think Billy may mention this too, is that it was traveling polar orbital, so it was going in the other direction of the spin of the Earth.
Right.
What NASA was saying, and they were attributing this to space junk and debris floating out in the atmosphere. If there was something traveling the opposite direction of the Earth, which the Endeavour was traveling, it would have been going so fast. There's no way you would have barely been able to see it with the naked eye, let alone take a photo of it. And so what they've proved, and you can see, I'll post this actually on the website as well if you want. That photo of that thing is actually a piece of thermal covering from one of the missions that went up, and people, because it's not just one angle. There's like a bunch of different angles that the astronauts took photos of this thing. Yeah, and it was kind of floating right by their shuttle, and you can see there's characteristics of these hard edges where it comes out, and they've shown pictures of these actual coverings that they say it was, and it's the exact same. You can see these little like rectangular cutouts and stuff that are on this thing, and it's the same exact shape that you can see on actual pieces of shuttle, and they say it was like a thermal covering on the struts or something. You can look it up, but anyway, so there's plenty of photos kind of debunking. You can see that the shape is the exact same thing as the shape. Anyway, so the photos thing.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Nope.
Okay, that's fine.
Matt, you're presenting alternative facts, and I refuse to accept those alternative facts.
Fake news. Fake news.
It doesn't fit my narrative, so therefore it does not exist. All right.
My last thing is the whole like discovery.
I can't hear you. Is someone talking?
O'Connor, he loves dark stories and calling out bullshit. I love it.
I know. It's all he can do. He's like a one-trick pony. Okay, sorry, Matt. I cut you off.
I love it. I love a good. This was so exciting to me at one point, and it was like I would love stories like this, but I need to be able to like look at it and say like, oh, that's legitimately interesting. But this one, everything I looked into it just didn't hold water.
But what happened to your heart?
So there was the whole.
What happened to your heart? Like, did a demon get in there?
No, I just like the facts just doesn't line up with this thing being legit.
Okay, so I get your evidence, Matt, but I think like the big story here is that there could be something trying to reach us with a message. We don't know where it's coming from. I mean, we're constantly searching for it. Just even today, we're constantly searching it. I mean, that article I started this podcast out with wasn't about the Black Knight, but there's radio signals coming from space somewhere. And so I think like the idea that like they could attribute it to like an object in the sky, but I think the big story is, could there be signals coming from some source in space trying to reach us?
No, I was just saying, like, yeah, I'm on board for that. Absolutely, I'm gonna watch this documentary, and I'm absolutely on board for Billy's stuff. Me personally, I don't find any credence in it.
No, it's okay, man. You can take a stance like that. It's okay. We all know you're a disinformation agent. It's okay.
The Earth is flat, and Australia doesn't actually exist. Anyone who's from Australia is actually an actor, a paid actor.
You're just a bad actor.
Oh my God, it's true.
I'm admitting it, folks. It's happening.
Before the break, I just want to say that I have an awesome story, a personal UFO story, directly related to the black satellite, the Black Knight. How could that be possible, Josh? My friends are asking right now. Well, it is, and I've been hiding. So I'm going to play you this audio right now of my family and I witnessing a string of UFOs in the sky. Right now, there's a string of lights coming from, like, roughly where you see, I think that's Venus.
Dad?
And there's a string of lights in the sky all following each other, tracking across the sky. I mean, that's so crazy. That's something. They could look kind of low almost.
You only see 3 right now.
But there was more.
1, 2, 3. No, you can see the 4th one. And look, there's another one. Oh my God, they keep coming.
They keep coming.
And there's one behind it. Oh my God. Wait,
what is that? All right, so yeah, we had a legit UFO experience a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to share all the details right after the break. All right, we're back, and I'm going to share what just happened. Before the break, I played for you myself and my kids being overly excited watching UFOs in the sky. So I live in South Boulder, and over the mountain range, you can see Venus. Amazing. Like, it's bright as hell, and it looks otherworldly. And from Venus, about 35 lights appeared like kind of behind it right over the mountain range. It looked like they were coming from Venus, but it was clearly way closer. It just was interesting that they were in the same vicinity. And light after light after light after light. I texted you two excitedly and was like, holy shit, start filming it, start filming. I filmed it. The film didn't come out good. Matt started filming it. My father-in-law saw it. Hundreds of people saw it. And it felt like a legit...
You're like, it's happening.
Yeah, I did. No, I had that like crazy chills of like, oh my God, I'm witnessing something amazing. You know, I've only had that feeling like 4 times in my life, and that was one of them. So I quickly put that shit on Nextdoor, that app Nextdoor, and was like, who saw that? Who saw that? And like, there was immediately like one science nerd right away. I was like, oh, that was the SpaceX Starlink satellites.
Which,
dude, there's always going to be one jackass that's going to shit all over everyone's fun.
Oh my
right?
God, like you.
I get that, O'Connor.
What a piece of shit.
She wasn't bad. You know who's bad? Like, randomly 2 ladies decided to comment that I used the word then wrong. Like, it should have been THAN instead of THEN. And they were like, grammar matters. People should learn. They learned that in grade school. All right, so here we go. Ready? So first of all, there's actually great videos on Reddit right now of space junk. You can find these UFO videos where it could be space junk, it could be a UFO. So whether the black satellite is space junk or UFO, we don't know. If you watch these videos, some you can explain that are clearly just debris from the spacecraft. Some are not. There's some where it's really, I don't know, even if they say it's debris, I'm like, it looks like an alien spaceship out there. I don't know what to tell you. And if you're into NASA stuff, please go look up the telomere videos. The telomere UFO videos are incredible. I'm not even going to explain it. It will blow your mind. There's no good explanation for it, but there's so much cool NASA UFO stuff. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to break down a Woke AF Top 3.
Yeah, Woke AF Top 3.
Woke AF top 3. This one's going to be about astronauts and UFO sightings, or my favorite stories about astronauts related to aliens. All right, first off, this is what Scott Carpenter said, one of America's first astronauts. At no time when the astronauts were in space were they alone. There was a constant surveillance by UFOs. That's a real quote. It's been in a million UFO documentaries. Here's another thing I want to set up before I get into the actual top 3. This is just all like set up. This is all hype material. This is something that in 1979, Maurice Chatelain, the former chief of NSA communication systems, said this. He believes, well, this is what he said, but he believes that some UFOs may come from our own solar system, specifically Titan, which is a moon on Saturn. Quote, all Apollo and Gemini flights were followed, both at a distance and sometimes also quite closely, by space vehicles of extraterrestrial origin, flying saucers or UFOs, if you want to call them by that name. Every time it occurred, the astronauts informed Mission Control, who then ordered absolute silence. Dun, dun, dun. Imagine dramatic music. All right, here we go. Woke AF top 3 astronauts and UFO sightings. Boom. People think Edgar Mitchell saw a UFO. When you talk about astronauts and you talk about UFOs, Edgar Mitchell comes up first for a lot of good reasons. But Edgar Mitchell's never seen a UFO, just to be clear. But this is why he's so interesting and why I put him in the top 3. So first fact that most people don't realize is he actually was in high school in the area of Roswell, New Mexico, in Roswell when the Roswell crash happened in the 40s, which is super interesting. Yeah, I think you interviewed this guy too, didn't you?
I did interview Edgar Mitchell. I just don't remember him being in Roswell. Whoops.
Yeah.
You know, you can say one thing about Mitchell. You know that guy fucks.
God rest his soul. So this is a cool tangent story that I did research. He started this foundation called FREE, F-R-E-E. Don't ask me what it stands for. But it studied UFOs and UFO encounters. And he was co-founded by a tax assessor friend in Florida named Ray Hernandez. So Ray Hernandez was a Catholic, and his wife was really religious. And they had a dog that was terminally ill. And one night, they were praying to God to heal his dog. He woke up in the middle of the night and went downstairs because his wife woke him up all excitedly. And there was like an energy form in their living room floating around their dog who was barking excitedly. And he was like, holy cow, what's happening? And during this experience, Ray Hernandez just walks back upstairs like it was still happening, but for some reason he decided to go back to bed. But the dog was miraculously healed. And then over the next couple of days, him and his wife witnessed like multiple giant UFOs, like outside their house, in their life. They had people come over and visit them who all witnessed it together. Like weird things would happen. Like 5 people would witness a giant UFO in the sky, and then they would just like in the middle of the sighting, they'd be like, wow, like right over their house. They'd just get in their car and drive away. There's like a weird hypnotism going on there.
That is a thing that happens quite a lot, actually, with a lot of people who experience either like abductees or people who experience seeing UFOs. Is after the fact, there's this weird thing with it. It's like, all right, that was cool. And then they just go back to sleep or go back home or whatever. And it's like a hypnotist kind of thing. I don't know what it is.
So Edgar Mitchell is one of the most fascinating astronauts, obviously. Probably the one you go to first when you look up UFOs and astronauts. He's also said crazy things like there's a cabal of insiders in the U.S. government that are studying recovered alien bodies, and this group has stopped briefing U.S. presidents after John F. Kennedy. He said that for real. He's definitely gone on record multiple times. Okay, that's one. That's the third. At the top 3, that's 3. Number 2, my favorite, is Buzz Aldrin. Buzz Aldrin is a real American.
Have you ever heard that there's that story of the moon landing? Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin. I think it was Neil Armstrong who said, and there was a point when they were doing the live televised version.
Yeah, the live feed. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where was it Neil Armstrong who, when they were actually on the moon, there was a point. I remember reading this. Maybe I've dreamt this. I don't know. But there was a point where he said, "Oh, what's that?" or something weird, and it was a break in the transmission.
Yep.
Or I don't know how long, and then it came back on again, and everything was fine. It was like a really weird moment.
Yeah,
obviously I wasn't around for when that happened, but I had read numerous people say that before.
You know, Neil never talked about it ever. He like literally went quiet about the moon landing like shortly after that. I mean, it's Buzz Aldrin who was like would not really say anything, but then he would do like crazy interviews and he'd be like, aliens! And he'd be like, what? What'd you just say?
I love Buzz. First of all, Buzz, you guys ever seen the video where Buzz punches that guy in the face?
No.
Yeah.
Buzz punches a guy who was like, the moon landing was fake. It's all bullshit. And like was really in his face. And then Buzz just like, well,